In the annals of human history, the name of Prophet Ayub alayhi salam stands as the ultimate symbol of patience, sabr, and unwavering faith. His story is not merely a tale of suffering, but a profound demonstration of the bond between a creator and his servant, a bond that remained unbroken even when tested by the extremes of loss and pain. Allama Majlisi, in his monumental work Bihar-ul-Anwar, Volume 12, compiles various authentic narrations to illustrate that Allah's trials for his beloved prophets are not punishments. Rather, they are a means to elevate their spiritual status and to provide an eternal example for humanity. This narrative teaches us that wealth is not a sign of God's favor, nor is its loss a sign of his displeasure. True success lies in being content with the will of Allah, Raza bil Kaza. The accounts in Bihar-ul-Anwar provide a deep look into the psychological and physical challenges Ayub alayhi salam faced and how he turned every agony into an act of worship. The abundance of blessings and the beginning of the trial. His early life and status. Prophet Ayub alayhi salam was a descendant of Prophet Ishaq alayhi salam, the son of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. His mother was the daughter of Prophet Lut alayhi salam. Allah had blessed Ayub with immense worldly grandeur alongside the crown of prophethood. He possessed vast herds of livestock, including thousands of camels, horses, cattle, sheep, and goats. His lush orchards and fertile lands stretched as far as the eye could see, managed by hundreds of devoted servants. Beyond wealth, Allah granted him 14 sons, all of whom were renowned for their beauty, strength, and righteous character. Despite this immense power, Ayub alayhi salam remained a humble servant. His home was a sanctuary for the poor. He spent his days feeding the hungry, caring for orphans, and hosting travelers. Angels would constantly carry news of his praises, glorification, and unmatched gratitude to the heavens. The jealousy of Iblis, Satan. When Iblis saw that Ayub alayhi salam remained a grateful servant despite his riches and wealth, and that wealth had not made him arrogant for even a second, he was consumed by intense jealousy. He appeared before the divine presence and argued, "O Lord, Ayub worships you only because you have showered him with health, wealth, and children. If these blessings were taken away, he would surely stop his remembrance and turn ungrateful towards you." To make Ayub's patience a shining example for all of creation until the end of time, Allah permitted Iblis to exert his power over Ayub's wealth and children as a trial. The loss of wealth and children. Iblis first attacked Ayub's livestock. He brought down fire from the sky, reducing his vast herds to ashes. When a servant rushed to deliver the tragic news, Ayub alayhi salam replied with total serenity, "It all belonged to Allah. He has simply taken back his trust. I am content with his decision." Seeing this failure, Iblis sent a violent wind and an earthquake that struck the very house where all 14 of Ayub's children were gathered. In the single moment, the building collapsed and all his children were martyred beneath the rubble. This was a tragedy that would break the back of any man, but Ayub alayhi salam fell into prostration, sajda, and with tears in his eyes whispered, "O Allah, you gave them to me and you have taken them back. I am satisfied with your decree and I submit to your command." Iblis was utterly defeated in this first stage of the trial, for not a single word of complaint escaped the lips of Ayub alayhi salam. Instead, his devotion to his Lord only grew stronger. The escalation of the trial. After failing to break Ayub's spirit through the loss of his wealth and children, Iblis, Satan, was humiliated. He returned to the divine presence and argued that a man can bear the loss of property as long as he has his health. He claimed, "O Lord, if you give me power over his body, he will surely grow weary and complain." Allah permitted this trial to further manifest Ayub's station of absolute surrender. The onset of illness. Iblis blew a poisonous breath upon Hazrat Ayub alayhi salam that affected his entire body. He was afflicted with a severe skin condition and intense physical ailments from head to toe. According to the narrations in Bihar-ul-Anwar, his body became so weak and his condition so severe that he could no longer move or stand for prayer as he used to. Important clarification from Allama Majlisi. It is crucial to note that Bihar-ul-Anwar and Shia theology strictly reject the narrations suggesting that Hazrat Ayub's body became repulsive or decayed to the point that people fled from him due to a foul smell. Allama Majlisi clarifies that a prophet is the proof of Allah, Hujjat-ullah, and Allah does not inflict a disease upon a prophet that would make people feel disgusted by him, as this would hinder his mission of guidance. Instead, his illness was one of extreme physical pain and exhaustion, not one that made his physical appearance loathsome. Social isolation and the departure of friends. Despite the nature of the illness not being repulsive, the length of the trial, which some narrations say lasted 7 to 18 years, caused people to drift away. Those who used to benefit from his wealth and status began to doubt him. They whispered, if Ayub were truly a beloved prophet, Allah would not have left him in this state for so long. He was eventually moved to a simple hut outside the city. Of all his friends, relatives, and followers, only a few remained, and eventually only his devoted wife, Bibi Rahma, stayed by his side. The devotion of Bibi Rahma. Bibi Rahma, who was a descendant of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, became the epitome of loyalty. She sold her belongings and worked as a laborer in the city to buy food for her husband. She would carry him on her back when needed and nursed him with unmatched patience. Iblis tried to tempt her as well, suggesting that she should abandon Ayub alayhi salam, but her faith remained as unshakable as her husband's. The pinnacle of patience. Throughout these years of agony, Hazrat Ayub alayhi salam never asked Allah to end the suffering out of impatience. When his wife asked him, "O Ayub, you are a prophet, why do you not pray to Allah to heal you?" he famously replied, "I enjoyed health for 70 years. It is only fair that I remain patient in illness for at least the same amount of time before I complain to my Lord." He spent his days and nights in dhikr, remembrance. Even when his body was racked with pain, his heart was in a state of constant peace with Allah's decree. The desperation of the people. As the years passed, the people of the city grew increasingly harsh. They feared that the bad luck or the curse they perceived upon Ayub as might affect them. Eventually, they forbade Bibi Rahma from entering the town to work. This was a devastating blow, as she was the sole breadwinner. She was forced to sell her long, beautiful braids, hair, to a woman in exchange for 2 loaves of bread to feed Hazrat Ayub as. Iblis's final deception. Iblis appeared to Bibi Rahma in the form of a wise old doctor or a sympathetic man. He played on her exhaustion and grief, saying, "How long will you suffer? I can cure your husband instantly. All you have to do is acknowledge that I am the one who healed him, or offer a small sacrifice in my name." Bibi Rahma, overwhelmed by the sight of her husband's prolonged suffering, returned to Hazrat Ayub as and recounted the encounter, wondering if this was a way out. The anger of the Prophet. When Hazrat Ayub as heard this, he immediately recognized the hand of Satan. He was not angry at his wife's exhaustion, but at the fact that Shaitan had attempted to interfere with their tawheed, oneness of God. In a moment of prophetic zeal, he vowed, "If Allah grants me health, I shall strike you with 100 lashes for listening to the whispers of the accursed Shaitan." Note, as we will see in later parts, Allah later provided a merciful way to fulfill this oath without harming the loyal Bibi Rahma. The supplication, the turning point. It was at this moment, not because of his own pain, but because Shaitan was now attacking the faith of his household, that Hazrat Ayub as turned to Allah. He did not demand healing. He simply stated his condition to his Lord, acknowledging Allah's mercy above all else. He made a humble and beautiful prayer mentioned in the Quran and expounded upon in Bihar-ul-Anwar. Ani masaniya durru wa anta arhamur rahimin. Truly distress has seized me, but you are the most merciful of those who show mercy. Surah Al-Anbiya 83. He did not say, heal me. He simply stated his condition to his Lord, acknowledging Allah's mercy above all else. Allah accepted his patience. He had passed every trial, loss of wealth, loss of children, loss of health, and the psychological warfare of Iblis. Allah commanded the earth to bring forth a miracle. A voice from the heavens said, Urkud birijlik, strike the ground with your foot. When Hazrat Ayub struck the ground with his heel, a miraculous spring of water gushed forth. The two springs of mercy. Following the command of Allah to strike the ground with his foot, not one, but two springs of water emerged from the dry earth. Bihar-ul-Anwar narrates that Allah commanded him to bathe in the first spring. As soon as Hazrat Ayub immersed himself in the water, every external trace of illness, pain, and weakness vanished. His skin became clearer and more radiant than it had been in his youth. To drink from the second spring, upon drinking the water, all his internal ailments and the exhaustion of the past several years were completely cured. Allah restored his strength to such an extent that he appeared as a young man of 30. He was clothed in heavenly garments, and the prophetic light or nur on his face shone brighter than ever before. The return of Bibi Rahma. When Bibi Rahma returned and saw a handsome, glowing young man sitting where her frail husband used to be, she did not recognize him. She asked him, O servant of Allah, have you seen the afflicted prophet who was here? I fear the wolves may have taken him. Hazrat Ayub as smiled and asked her, would you recognize him if you saw him? She replied, yes, he looked just like you when he was young and healthy. He then revealed, I am Ayub. The joy of their reunion is described as one of the most emotional moments in the narration, as Allah rewarded her for her unwavering loyalty. The restoration of family and wealth. Allah did not just heal his body, He restored everything that was lost during the trial. Bihar-ul-Anwar mentions that the children, in a miraculous act of mercy, Allah brought his children back to life. Some narrations suggest that his wife was granted her youth back, and they were blessed with many more children, doubling the size of his original family. The wealth. Huge clouds appeared and began to rain gold locusts and wealth upon his lands. His fields became green and fertile again, and his livestock multiplied until he was even wealthier than he was before the trial began. Fulfilling the oath, the bundle of grass. Remembering his oath to strike his wife with 100 lashes for listening to Shaitan, Hazrat Ayub was in a dilemma. He did not want to hurt the woman who had served him for years. Allah, out of mercy for Bibi Rahma, revealed a solution. And take in your hand a bundle of thin grass, and strike therewith your wife, and break not your oath. Surah Sad 44. He took a bundle of 100 thin stalks and struck her lightly once. In the eyes of divine law, this single strike with 100 stalks counted as 100 strikes, thus fulfilling his oath without causing her any pain. The defeat of Iblis. Iblis, seeing Hazrat Ayub restored to a state of even greater glory and surrounded by his children and wealth, let out a cry of absolute despair. He realized that no matter how much he took away, he could not take away the heart of a believer that is filled with the love of Allah. The conversation with Allah. After the trial had ended, and Hazrat Ayub alayhi salam was restored to his former glory. It is narrated in Bihar-ul-Anwar that Allah spoke to him. Allah asked, "O Ayub, during the days of your affliction, did you ever lose hope in my mercy, or did the length of the trial make you doubt my love for you?" Hazrat Ayub alayhi salam replied with deep humility, "O my Lord, by your might and majesty, I never doubted. My heart was occupied with the sweetness of your remembrance, which made the bitterness of the pain feel like a gift. My only fear was that I might inadvertently do something that displeased you." The question of tears. One of the most moving parts of the narration involves a question asked to Hazrat Ayub alayhi salam after his recovery. Of all the things you lost, your wealth, your children, your health, what caused you the most pain? Hazrat Ayub alayhi salam replied with deep humility, "The most painful part was the taunts of the people." He explained that while the physical suffering was a secret between him and Allah, the way people looked at him with pity or accused him of being a sinner, claiming his illness was a punishment, was the heaviest burden on his soul. This teaches us that words can often be more piercing than physical wounds. The rain of gold. Bihar-ul-Anwar provides a beautiful detail about the restoration of his wealth. It is narrated that as Ayub alayhi salam sat in his field, Allah sent a cloud that rained gold locusts upon him. Ayub began to gather them in his cloak with great care. A voice asked, "O Ayub, have I not enriched you enough? Do you still desire more?" Ayub alayhi salam replied, "O Lord, you have indeed enriched me, but this is your barakah, blessing, and no one can ever have enough of your blessing." This showed that his gathering was not out of greed, but out of immense respect for anything sent by Allah. The significance of Bibi Rahma's reward. Allama Majlisi emphasizes that the restoration of Bibi Rahma's youth was a specific reward for her loyalty. In a world that often abandons those in need, she stood as a pillar of support. Her story in Bihar-ul-Anwar serves as a lesson for spouses and families on the importance of sabr, patience, and wafa, faithfulness during financial or health-related crises. The eternal lesson. The story concludes by establishing a golden rule for believers. The beginning of a trial is a test of faith. The middle of a trial is a test of patience. The end of a trial is a manifestation of divine mercy.